Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from MRC Newsbusters, America's media watchdog. And it is from November 6th, entitled, "The Media Are Egotistical Exaggerators and Liars." And again, as I've said a billion times by now, anytime I get a chance to clown on the media, I am going to do it because they need to be clowned on. And the article goes into, it says, the 2024 presidential campaign is ending pretty much where it began, loathing the never-ending presence of Donald Trump. On the day before the election, the New York Times front page displayed a gaudy editorial, badly disguised as news analysis, under the title, "Torrent of Lies Redefines Political Norms." And the New York Times having an issue with lies is pretty, guys, here's a mirror, you might want to go look in it. Says, doesn't that sound like a hard-charging rerun of 2016? Nothing ever seems to change from the paper that gaudily proclaimed under Trump that the truth is more important now than ever. The New York Times probably should go look up what truth is because they seem to have a real hard time with it. As you can point and laugh, since the New York Times refused to admit that Hunter Biden's laptop full of corruption details was authentic until 2022. What did I just say? I meant to say 2022. Okay, my brain was fried right there. I don't know. Synapse is not working. It says, and then it acknowledged reality in a story on page 820 in paragraph 23. It was buried almost like an unmarked grave. Yeah, it's like when they admit they're wrong, it's like, let's just put it near the back in a section that people probably are just going to skip right over, and it's like, oh yeah, we're sorry, sort of thing. Asshats. The chief White House correspondent, Peter Baker's editorial bubbled over with contempt for how many lies Trump told in the first 300 seconds of an interview with Tucker Carlson on Halloween. The thing is, when they say Trump lies, Trump does exaggerate, but what does he outright, just lie about? I'd like to know. So his public appearances by Mr. Trump throughout this year's campaign have been an Alice in Wonderland trip through the political looking glass, a journey into an alternate reality often belied by actual reality. And again, coming from the New York Times, it's pretty rich. As Baker thinks it's amusing that Trump will sell his administration as the greatest ever seen in American history. It's shaping up to be that way. As Baker can't imagine anyone thinks he and his journalist wife, Susan Glasser, and his journalist friends sound like the exact opposite. They have sold Trump's administration as the most horrendous years America has ever seen, which to anyone who's as they said, actually living in reality would know is just not true. Every American who pays even a moment's attention to American politics knows that Donald Trump exaggerates wildly and egotistically, as I was saying, selling himself like he's closing another real estate deal. Everything is the best or the worst ever. Everyone loads that into their political calculus. But Democrat coddling journalists act perpetually shocked, like they're all starring in the movie 50 First Dates and forget every night how Trump operates. That's a good analogy. What's really shocking here is how the major media pretends that the Democrats are dramatically more honest, like 10 times more honest, and that's so obviously not true. It's the other way around, or less honest in that direction, probably even more than that. The set apart on page A16 is their New York Times analysis of candidate speeches. 64 is the number of false or misleading statements at a typical Trump rally, according to them, and I would say no. By contrast, 6 is the number of false or misleading statements at a typical rally for Kamala Harris. I would say those numbers are probably reversed for real. The obvious joke is that Trump's rally speeches can go on for 90 minutes, while Kamala is closing out the campaign with 10-minute speeches. I would say 10 minutes is probably giving her a lot more credit. So what's the minute-by-minute falsehood rate? Under these stilted numbers is 33%, as in the percentage of registered voters who agree with Trump's false claims that Biden did not legitimately win. The Times can't acknowledge the fraction of this 33% who believe dramatic media suppression of the Biden scandal news can translate into illegitimate victory. You can accept the result and yet protest the unfair process. And I love how you see all these people coming out now that are, if you look at the popular vote for all the Democratic nominees since I think it was 2004, you're going to see one that sticks out quite a bit. And that's Biden's result from 2020, where it's 15 million people just disappeared. And you're starting to see them come to be like, how did that happen? It's like, you're almost there, guys. Keep going. Says then the leadership, that's not what that word says, Jason. Says then the partisanship is underlined by their selected expert. No one in American politics has ever lied on this scale, said Bill Adair, a founder of PolitiFact, a site that's not to be trusted, whose new book is titled Beyond the Big Lie. The Times left out Adair's partisan subtitle, The Epidemic of Political Lying, Why Republicans Do It More, and How It Could Burn Down Our Democracy. None of that is true, but okay. Republicans can burn down our democracy since they lie so much more, maybe 10 times more. Adair is quite candid about how he thinks the Republicans were aggressive liars before Trump, so they put Democrat donkey ears on his head. Republicans refuse to accept the norm that political news must be dominated by people who want the Republicans disparaged and then destroyed, as they identify themselves as nonpartisan truth-tellers. That's a very large and egotistical lie. And that is the end of the article. And no, I'm not going to donate. Certainly, if I was, not going to put my information here live on doing a video. But yeah, I mean, these articles just kind of end in Newsbusters. There's no like concluding thing. It's just kind of like, oh, by the way, it's just, we're done. But yeah, he's right. I mean, he's right about all this stuff. And listening to the New York Times, trying to be like, we're the truth tellers. It's like, guys, you're one of the worst at telling the truth. But anyway, do you agree with this or not? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.